So let's just wait for the others in a few minutes and we will begin the program already. All right, so we would like to inform everyone that we are live on YouTube. So good afternoon, our dear JPNs who are watching us via YouTube. So we would like to acknowledge the presence of our Dean, Dr. Anne-Marie F. Bagajon. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon po, Dean.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Sir Joel 𝐋𝐞𝐿𝐴, DBA CPA, our Chairperson of Accountancy Department. Good afternoon, Sir Bart. And Sir Jaser I. Avila, MSA CPA, our Chairperson of Allied Accounting Courses Department. And our JPA moderator, Ma'am Jodeline Salcedo, CPA. Good afternoon, ma'am. And of course, to our beloved professors who are present right now. Okay, so thank you very much for being with us this afternoon, despite your hectic schedules.
Recording in progress.
Once again, good afternoon, legendary people of JPA. I am Yvonne Angelo P. Awa, a fourth-year BSBA Accounting Information Management student, and I will be your host for this afternoon's event. It is my honor to welcome you to our lecture series with the topics Making Better Business Decisions Using Management Accounting Models and Accountants in the New Normal, Roles, Duties, and Trends as part of our first ever virtual Accountancy and Allied Accounting Courses celebration with the theme Braving the Waves in the New Normal. So JPNs, are you ready to brave the waves? I hope that is a big yes. Okay. All right, so before we get started, I'd like to go over our house rules so that proper etiquette will be observed. To minimize distraction, please remain muted for the entire program proper to avoid distracting your fellow participants. Although not required, we encourage you to open your cameras for the duration of the program. However, we understand if you're unable to do so due to an unstable internet connection. You're also requested to be in the Zoom room until the end of the activity because e-certificates will be given to those who will finish the entire session and accomplish the evaluation form. So we will provide the link for the evaluation form at the end of this session. Make sure to put your Zoom names according to the format given for attendance checking. So your Zoom name should include your school ID number, last name, and your first name. Also, we encourage you to actively participate in our open forum that will be done later. And of course, let's enjoy the program as we learn and gain new insights today. So everyone, send some emojis or click any of the reaction buttons you have in our Zoom chat if our house rules are already clear to you? All right, so I can see that everyone is looking forward to a productive and informative program this afternoon. Worry no more because we got you. To start, I invite each of us to settle and feel the presence of the Lord for the opening prayer, to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Dearest Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve you as I should. To give and not to count the cost. To fight and not to heed the wounds. To toil and not to seek for rest. To labor and ask not for reward. Save that of knowing that I do your most holy serve you as I should. To give and not to count the cost. To fight and not to heed the wounds. To toil and not to seek for rest. To labor and ask not for reward. Save that of knowing that I do your most holy will.
In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, helas ang sinahanan, alam ng puso, sa lilig mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyagan ang mahiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagalang putok sa simoy at sa langit mo bagaw, ay hinatang tulakaw sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y nabuhay na naghihintin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang kanilang hihintin. Lumang ang araw ng warhabing pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay ang amin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
All right, so I know that we are all set and excited to begin and meet our resource speakers for this afternoon. But before that, let's have a brief background of what accountancy and allied accounting courses celebration is all about. So this month, the Junior Philippine Institute of Accountants ADNA chapter is in collaboration with the Accountancy Department and the Allied Accounting Courses Department. So this celebration consists of 3 days filled with academic and non-academic activities that aims to hone us students for we pursue not just academic excellence, but holistic development. This celebration has the following objectives. First, to encourage the students' participation through the different virtual activities. Second, to provide supplementary activities for the JPians and provide a venue to nurture their knowledge, skills, and values. Third, to pursue MAGIS throughout the celebration through active participation and involvement. Lastly, to raise awareness of the values being embodied by their chosen profession or field of expertise. Thus, this celebration is looking forward to inspiring and motivating us students as we continue to work toward our goals and aspiration to become valued individuals in our chosen profession and in society as a whole. With that being said, I hope that we are all clear on why we are all here and what accountancy and allied accounting courses celebration is all about. All right, if everything is clear, kindly type in our chat box the word MAGIS so that we can see if you are all ready to unleash the MAGIS within. All right? May nag-chat ba ng MAGIS? Ayan, ready na. All right. So allow me now to share with you the schedule of today's lecture series. There will be two parts. The first part is the talk of our first resource speaker, followed by a short open forum, while the second part is the talk of our second resource speaker, also to be followed by a short open forum. All right, everyone, let us cut the chase. All right, so we have with us Dr. Anne-Marie F. Bagajon, Dean of College of Business and Accountancy, to give us the opening remarks. Good afternoon, Dean.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Is my audio clear, Yvonne?
Yes, po. Yes,
Thank
po.
you very much, Yvonne. You're very active today, and I really like that. Nice seeing you again. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Accountancy Department and Allied Accounting Courses Department celebration. This is in collaboration with the Junior Philippine Institute of Accountants, or the JPIA Ateneo de Naga University chapter, with this year's theme, Braving the Waves in the New Normal. And this has been already mentioned by Yvonne. So I'd just like to add, in the distant past, okay, or should I say pre-pandemic, we normally conduct the department week, a week-long celebration, okay, highlighting and reinforcing the learning objectives of each course program outside the usual four corners of the classroom. But now, since we are on our 24th month, or almost 2 years of flexible learning and physical distancing, limited face-to-face classes, we still continue to the department's activities, but this time for only 3 days and no longer week-long celebration. But still, no, in an online modality platform via Zoom. And we thank, of course, our handsome and hardworking department chairpersons, Sir Joel Bart Gogola of Accountancy Department and Sir J. Sir Avila of the Allied Accounting Courses Department, together with a very dynamic moderator, Ms. Judy Lin, and of course, the officers, committee heads, members of the Junior Institute of Philippine Accountants, and also to our faculty members, the professors from both departments. It only shows how brave you are in facing the waves or challenges of this new normal. Okay? So the main purpose of this event, it was already mentioned, but just let me add, to provide relevant inputs and of course add on practical knowledge that can be used by all of you as students for your future professional career. Of course, this is also a good activity because it also aims to promote mental and emotional health, even if we do not see each other face to face, and be able to nurture the Ignatian principles and values of our accounting students and professors as well. Hence, I am thankful for our guest speakers for the lecture series. I saw earlier Mr. John Michael Angelo Lopo, CPA, RCA, MBA, whose lecture will be on making better business decisions using management accounting models. Welcome and thank you, Mr. Lopo, for being here. And of course, very near to home, our top-notcher in the 2011 CPA licensure examination, Mr. Jerome, Austria, okay, whose talk will be on accountants in the new normal, roles, duties, and trends. And also, I'm looking forward to our resource speaker for tomorrow for the mini alternative class programs. Okay. With this, I don't want to take so much of your time because I know everyone's excited, including me, to hear the lecture series from our expert guest speakers. Thus, I'd like to thank everyone and welcome and enjoy this lecture series. Back to you, Yvonne.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome, Ma'am Anne. Thank you very much po. All right, so we also have with us the Chairperson of Accountancy, Mr. Joel H. Gogola, DBA CPA, to give us a message.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our first ever Online Accountancy and Allied Accounting Courses celebration. This activity is basically just about one thing: to provide you additional practical knowledge, skills, and values that you can bring with you as future professionals to help you keep you in the right track. With the seemingly unending health crisis before us, we have to continue to equip and store ourselves with these much needed capabilities and values that can help us adapt, survive, and positively go forward, most especially in these challenging times. As future accountants and accounting professionals, you might now be confronted by so many questions in your head like, what would I become after graduation? What kind of future as a professional awaits me, more so in the midst of this pandemic? What could be the non-negotiables that I have to acquire or develop to prepare myself to the not-so-distant future to succeed? All this and more are for sure some of the hard questions you may have in your minds, and sadly, the harder part is that you have no clear answers to these questions right now. Please don't worry too much because, believe it or not, I was in the same exact spot asking the same questions when I was at your stage. Simply put, what you're going through is normal, and that means you are exactly where you should be right now. Learning as much as you can, enhancing your potentials, and preparing for your bright future. Having said that, I hope the activities in store for you this accountancy and allied accounting courses celebration can bring you more light, enthusiasm, and motivation as you journey towards your much-awaited destiny. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the ride.
Thank you very much, Sir Bart, for that very inspiring message. Totoo yung sabi ni Sir, di ba? Agree ba kayo? Comment kayo if agree in our chat box. Agree ba kayo? Lalo na ang ating mga pag-graduate na dyan. Di ba? Alright, so here we are in our most awaited part. So for our first topic, we have making better business decisions using management accounting models. All right, so to introduce our first speaker, may we call on Mr. Dexter Vimitra, CPA, Faculty of Department of Accountancy.
Next research speaker is a certified public accountant and a registered cost accountant in Australia. He has a master's degree in business administration and has executive vast experience in auditing, accounting, financial management, and financial statement analysis for over a decade. He earned his master's degree in business administration at Ateneo de Manila University, Graduate School of Business, and Regis University. He attended Strategic Disaster Risk Management and Leadership Program at Asian Institute of Management, and induction to collaborative teaching through COIL model at Universidad La Salle, Mexico City. He finished his bachelor's degree of accountancy at Ateneo de Naga University. He is the co-founder, the CAO, and Executive Director of Strive, Executive Asia, Strive Consultancy Group, Strive Accounting Services, and Accounting Review Solution, OPC. He is also the Chief Financial Officer of Macario Smart Innovations Incorporated. He is a former controller and a financial planning and analysis manager, country finance lead of JA Farms Asia Pacific Incorporated, and Santa Fe Moving and Relocation Services, respectively. He brings in 13 years of experience in the food and beverage industry. Aside from his corporate work, he is also a part-time accounting professor of numerous top schools such as Ateneo de Manila University, De La Salle University, University of Asia and the Pacific, and San Beda University, to name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our warm of applause to Mr. John Michael Angelo Z. Lopo.
Good afternoon, Sir J-Man.
All right. So good afternoon to all of you. Sorry. All right. Good afternoon. Just marahay na hapon sa Indigo Boss. All right. You can hear me, yes?
Yes po, sir.
All right.
Loud and clear.
So thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. No? So of course, I am very proud that I am from Ateneo de Naga University. Yes, no? So I am very proud that I am the product of Ateneo de Naga University. And I am also a former GPIA president, no? And I am very, very happy, no? Kasi for me, no? Okay lang mag-Bicol, no? Wala lang. Kasi di ako tuod mag-Bicol na, no? Because of the speaking engagement. Pero ngayon, proud ako na nagbibicol ako. Ngunyan, digdi sa Ateneo de Naga. Alright. Of course, thank you, Sir Joel, no? Sir Joel, teacher ko yan sa Ateneo. Also with Sir Dean Abilinde, no? Mga teacher ko sa Ateneo with Sir Mike Balbastre. Alright. So, salamat, no? Thank you sa pag-invite sa Kuya ngunyan with this accountancy week, no? I remember nung ako ay JPA president, no? Ginigibo man permi. Alright, pero that time is yaon pa kami duman sa corner, no, kang Dolan Hall and Phelan Hall, 'di ba? So yun. So thank you JPIA, no, your GPA president here, no, for inviting me here, specifically in terms of this accountancy week. All right, can I share my screen? All right. Alright, share ko muna screen ko, ha. Wait lang. Right, wait for a minute. So if ever lang I have time, no? So I can have also discuss to you about CPA in the making, no? Or CPA in the making. If I have time, I think I have here sorry. 1 hour, no? All right, to discuss. Okay. Sorry. So my topic now is all about making better business decisions, no? Using the management accounting models. So, anong ibig sabihin ng making decisions? Okay, wait lang. Sorry, madaming interruption, no? Kasi ito ay nasa slides na. Thank you kaagad. What happened? Okay, sorry. Ayun. Sorry, thank you kaagad, ha. All right. So again, part 2, take 2. Okay, so my topic is all about making better decisions using the management model, no? So yun. So of course, very important is the word management accounting, right? So in your own job, no, in your own study, no, of course, you are a BS accountancy or ano ba ngayon, BS accounting technology ba? Sorry, nung time is BSBA CMA and BSBA FA, no. All right, so the allied courses in accounting. All right, so very important is to have better decisions, no, using the management accounting. All right. But kailangan pa natin na magkaroon ng decision making, no, specifically in terms of accounting. Sige, later, no? All right. So, beginning today, no, for today, I will discuss to you about accounting information, the users of accounting information, the decision making roles of the managers, and the role of managerial accounting. And alam ko din, no, and aram ko, no, gabus ka mo magiging certified public accountant, tama ba? Or magiging certified management accountant yung iba, no? Or magiging certified, if I remember right, CISA, no? Certified Information System Accountant. No? Why? because very important is the proper communication, the proper decision making. That's the role of a managerial accountant or managerial accountant. Okay. But before that, no, very important first, no, to discuss first. Anong ibig sabihin ng accounting information? Okay, so objectives of this one, it describes first, no, the meaning of traditional accounting information system, and to discuss also about the enterprise resource planning system. Dati, di ba? If we have that information, dati there's no what do you call that, computer, no? So I remember only no, 𝐒𝐞𝐭𝐮𝐫𝐞 pa, no? Only the typewriter, no? And also the worksheet, no? So it is a proper communication, di ba? Because of that worksheet, no, you can prepare your financial statement, correct? With the FS, no, investors will look into your balance sheet, no, the suppliers will look into your income statement, no, and also your employees will look into your FS, no. Bigla ba kaming salary increase for today, for this year? Okay, so very important is the accounting information system. And today, since of course we evolved na, no, the development of the computerized accounting system, right? So in San Miguel, no, we use SAP. Okay, we have the GL system. We have also the Pitch3. We have also here the ano pa ba? Yun, so any other accounting software. Okay, that would be the accounting information. That's why, as part of the accounting information, it includes both financial, of course, quantitative, and non-financial qualitative information used by decision makers. No, a while ago, no, I had class sa Ateneo de Manila in the GGSOM, no, in the undergraduate, and the subject is management accounting. Okay, I remember, no, I discussed about accounting information. Very important is your qualitative, no? Hindi ibig sabihin that you have your accounting information, that only your quantitative is very important. We need to decide. That's why you have your information used by decision makers, correct? Okay. For example, in your capital budgeting, yes, we have your payback period, you have your net present value method, you have your profitability index, you have so many other aspects or competencies or tools, no? Baliwala ba ang qualitative? No, no? Very important is the qualitative information. That's why we have also notes to FS, correct? Because we explain, the reports will explain to you, no, ano bang nangyayari in terms of our FS, right? That's very important. Next, we have also your users of accounting information, right? Describe the users of accounting information and discuss their possible uses of accounting, right? So, very important is if you have the users of information, dapat alam nyo kung anong kukunin mong report, right? I want to invest in Ateneo de Naga, no? So, if ever lang, halimbawa lang. I want to invest in San Miguel Brewery Inc. So, of course, we have our financial statement. We will decide, right? Because of our accounting information. Okay. So, who are the users of accounting informations? Sino ba ang nagde-decide? Sino ba yung external and internal decision makers? No? So, you have stockholders, of course, the potential investors, you have your creditors, you have your government agencies, lalo-lalo na yung Bureau of Internal Revenue, right? No? Kasi habulin tayo, no? Especially in terms of our income tax. No? Suppliers also and customers. Okay? And we have also your internal. No? Of course, our employees, the employee teams, the department, the managers, the regions, the top management, the board of directors. No? They are all the users of accounting information, no? Specifically in terms of our FS. All right. So meaning, so my goal here is, what if you are now the manager of your own company? No? What would be your role? So I will discuss later about your role as a manager. And at the same time, I will also discuss about your proper planning, okay? Your operating, your controlling activities, no? And of course, your process. Okay. So, aram ko man, nagabos ka mo magiging successful. Diba? Siyempre, taga-Ateneo Dinaga, no? Okay. Mga matitibay ang mga taga-Ateneo Dinaga. Okay. Yes, totoo yan, no? Alright. So, meaning, very important here is your decision-making role. Right? The proper planning. Okay. Ang proper planning ba natin is more on the short term, the day-to-day operations, or we will go more on our operational? Okay? Our goal ba is more on a long term or strategic? No? Very important here is the strategy or strategic decision making, the tactical decision making. Why? We need to have the resources and to have, or, diba ang ating goal is to minimize our costs, to maximize our income, no? So that we have more profit. Identify resources that needs to achieve our goals, no? Especially if we have a constrained resources. Okay, that's our goal, no? So again, as part of decision-making role, no, your operating activities, no, your day-to-day operations, your normal operating cycle, di ba sa accounting, ang tawag dyan ay normal operating cycle. Okay? The point wherein you will buy the product up to what? Hanggang makakolekta ka, no, sa mga customers, no? So want to produce the selling price and who does what and what to advertise. So meaning, as part of your decision making role, no, in your activities, very important is the day-to-day operations. Okay. And of course, we will promote our product, no, at the same time para magkaroon tayo ng income. Okay. Next, controlling. Yes, class, no? This is our role, no, as accountant. We should control our costs. Okay. I remember when I was still part of San Miguel Brewery and still part of Santa Fe Relocations and and JE Farms, no? Sabi ng mga taga-sales, 'di ba? Kung wala ang sales, no? Wala kayong sweldo, kaya wag kayong magyabang. Sinabihan kami noon, no, the time, no? Kami ang nagpapasweldo sa iyo. No, mali, no? We are the one to control your costs, di ba? Sige nga, if walang accountant, right? If walang accountant sa tingin nyo, profitable ang San Miguel, profitable ang iba't ibang businesses, malamang hindi, no? Our role is to control their costs through, ano bang sinabi sa inyo ng inyong professor about budgeting, about standard costing, right? We have our variance analysis, no? Your actual expense is to be compared with our budget, correct? Sana naalala pa yan, ha? Sana nagirumduman pa, no? Ang discussion sa inyo about materials price variance, materials labor variance, the one-way and the two-way, the overhead variance, no? Hopefully pa, no? Next, are we motivating employee? No? So we motivate ba our own employees? No? Or yan, the last point is about budgeting. Are we comparing our actual outcomes with the planned outcomes? That's why very important is the variance analysis. Okay. That's your role, ha? And yes, lahat kayo magiging successful and magiging manager. Okay? Next. Okay. Nalobat yung aking mouse. Okay. Nalobat yung mouse. Sorry. What happened? Okay, sorry for this. Wait lang, medyo may technical error lang. Okay lang. Abo nang maano. Abo naman next. Alright, sorry. Yun. Sorry medyo naghang ba? Yun. Again, that's your role, no? Sorry for the interruption, okay? Yeah, ito na. Sorry. Sorry, class. Sorry, naghang yung aking computer. Alright, nasa ina ba kita? So we have your controlling, no? So we have, yes, here. Sorry. So again, controlling. Okay, next. Okay, sige nga. Pause and reflect, no? Identify some potential strategic planning sa JPA, no? Sa studies nyo, no? That would impact or that would made by a non-profit or wag na non-profit, your organizations na lang, no? Whose mission, no? Of course, identify na lang potential strategic planning na naginibon nindo, no? In terms of your JPA, no? Yan. So very important is the proper decision-making role. Halimbawa lang to, ha? Okay. Next, key concept, no, in terms of managerial accounting. No? Managerial accountants facilitates management decision-making. Diba? Our goal is to have better management decision-making. Okay. So sabi ni Seigel and Coleza, okay, instead of preparing FS, they interpret the information in terms of financials and explain the business implications to managers. They are doing more financial planning and more financial modeling. The work with managers to make informed, better, or business decisions. Diba? Instead daw na mag-interpret tayo ng ating accounting information, very important is we have proper planning and we should guide us with our financial model, no? Para at least we can have the proper or to make informed decision making or business decisions, right? And so the role of the managerial accountants, of course, marketing managers, operations, no, finance managers, and the human resource. Ito yung mga usual, no, na to give advice, diba? Okay. So key concept again of the role of managerial accountants, no? They're constantly evolving to meet the changing demands of its users, diba? So dati ang managerial accountant ay part lang ng supervisory or manager. Ngayon ay they give advice na. Okay? They give advice especially in, of course, human resource, the operations. Kaya nga for better decision making. Okay. Next, accounting information needed by internal versus external accountants. So lahat kayo ay magiging certified public accountant or magiging CMA or ZISA, no? So ano ba ang kailangan nyo? So ano ang kaipuhan nindo, no? Na information, no? So of course to be more flexible, geared to a specific company, no? Pero hindi ibig sabihin na yan ay GAAP, no? Or SEC or IFRS or IAS, di ba? Anong sinabi sa inyo ng inyong professor about the management accountant? Diba? Okay lang na di magsunod sa GAAP because in terms of our management accounting, no, it is based on your decision making. Okay? Hindi required. Mali ako. Hindi required. Pero of course, may GAAP pa din yan. No? Hindi lang required. Okay. So, today, no, what we have discussed today, of course, is all about the accounting information, no? The users of accounting information, the decision-making, and the roles of the managers, and also the role of your managerial accountant, no? Yan yung ating very basic, no? Particularly in terms of the accounting information. Okay. So, meaning, again, as part of decision-making, so first part pa lang yan, ha? The second part is about decision-making, okay? So again, introduction, decision-making model, the relevant factors that will affect our decision-making. Ano ba yung risk involved in the decision-making and the ethics and the decision-making? Okay, first thing, how did you decide with this one? No? What college to attend for? What big peso or dollar items to purchase? No? Whether to accept or summer job or whether to join particular group or join JPA. Better to join JPA, ha? Kasi for me, yan yung pinaka-edge, especially in terms of your leadership, di ba? Pero of course, ano lang yan, pangalawa lang. Of course, yung una is your study, di ba? Ang aking, may edge if you are a JP officer, no? May edge ka pag naghahanap ng trabaho, di ba? Kasi sabi ng mga employer, ito pa nga, estudyante pa lang to, no? Na ma-manage niya na ang studies at the same time, co-curricular activity, no? Paano pa kaya dito sa ating company? Yan. So may edge din. Yes, may edge ang pagiging GPA officer, no? Okay. Yan yung decision mo. Okay. Ang decision mo ba ay mag-adal na lang, no? Nasa harong lang ako, ma-adal lang. Or pwede akong mag-join ng mga organizations para at least ma-hone or ma-enhance ang sakuyang leadership skills, no? Don't get me wrong, ha? Hindi ko sinasabi na hindi ka mag-adal, no? What I mean is, number 2 lang yan, no? Of course, your priority is to become successful or to finish your study. Okay. That would be your decisions, right? And so yung kaya I'm glad na yung iba ay very active in the GPIA. Na tandaan ko kadto, no? Kami ang perming champion. Kita pala mga GPIA kita, no? For the 4th consecutive, ako ata yung pinakalas na president na nag-champion sa GPIA. Then the following year, na nag-champion eh. 5 sunod-sunod din, no? In trams, na. Pag sinabing cheering squad, no? JPA yan, permi yan JPA. Okay. Kalaban per may ABBS. May ABBS pa ba? May abs pa ba? Meron pa. Ikaw pa. Okay. Yan. That would be your decision. Okay. So next, decision making. Okay. Decision making is the process of identifying different courses of action and selecting one decision appropriate to given situations. And it requires using the judgment. Okay. Nagirumduman ko, may bukiri pa ba? May ng bukiri. Wala lang. Sa may nasa baba hang gym, no? Yan. So, SMEDI siya. Small Medium Enterprise Development something. So, part din ako ng kang bukiri. No? Bukiri book and gift shop siya. Okay. Why? That's your decision making, no? Kasi nung time na yon, ako ay naging internal auditor sa bukiri. Yes, GP officer ako, nagbubukiri ako noon. Wala lang, active na active ako talaga as in. Why? Proper decision, proper about leadership skills, no? At the same time, ma-apply mo pa yung tinutukto sa Indo, kang sa Indong professor. Diba? That would be your judgment. It requires judgment, no? Kung active ako sa JPA, active ba ako? Okay? As part of being a manager, that would be your decision, diba? To select possible alternatives, no? Plan A, Plan B, okay? Or Plan C, Plan D man yan, okay? Of course, very important here is the cost and benefits, diba? If you're the manager, dapat you have more benefits than your cost. And very important, it requires your judgment. Kaya nga, di ba sa accounting may tinatawag na professional judgment, professional skepticism. Tama ba? It requires your judgment. Okay. Reflect. Outline as the best as you can process you went through in selecting the last major item you purchased. Ikaw ba ay bumili ng cellphone? Or bumili kung ano-ano man, no? Pinag-isipan mo ba? No? Or di mo pinag-isipan, no? Tapos ika ay anong apod ka yan? Nagbabasol ka, no? Talo tabi nakal ko pa ini, no? Okay. Yan. As part also of being the manager, no, of the company, that would be your decision. Okay. Next. So decision making, again, objectives here is to recall the basic 4 steps model and explain the relevant factors and discuss the role and the risk of decision making, and at the same time discuss the role of ethics, no, and decision making. Number 1, as part of your decision model, very important here is to define the problem. Yes, you should define the problem. Ano ba ang problema, no? What would be our problem, no? In terms of this one, no? I remember nung ako ay nasa San Miguel pa, no? Ang aming problema ay paleta. Yes, no? Kasi yung pallets ay nasa Santa Rosa Brewery, yung iba nasa Polo Brewery, yung iba ay nasa Davao, yung iba ay nasa Mindanao. Okay. That's our problem, no? Walang proper monitoring of pallets. Okay. Cost din ha. One pallets is worth 2,300. Okay, so part ako doon, no? Part ako ng team to identify, no? Ano bang problema? There's no proper monitoring. Okay. Pause and reflect, no? In retrospect, should you have considered other options and variables? Let's say you purchase a big or most recent big purchase, no? Yan. Okay. Sige, example ko na lang. Kami ay nag-purchase ng malaking machine sa San Miguel. That was before the pandemic. Yes, totoo to ha, before the pandemic. Kasi in the year 2019, napakataas ng benta ng San Miguel. No? And eventually, that 2019, record-breaking yan. No? The sales of San Miguel, wow, grabe. Ang daming manghihinom. No? Yes, no? Bumili kami ng machine and we convert the Santa Rosa plant to Santa Rosa Brewery. Okay. That was 2019. Sige. Define the problem. Ang problema namin, ang daming demand, but walang San Miguel product. May San Miguel product, pero hindi sapat yung supply. So, ang ginawa namin, we purchase additional one machine para madaming ma-produce na San Miguel product. Okay. Pause and reflect, no? Should you have considered other options? Wala na yun. We need to buy one machine. Kasi sayang naman yung benta, no? Ng San Mig Apple, di ba, Yvonne? San Mig Apple, San Miguelen. Ay, bawal pa kayo uminom pala. Tama ba? 21 na kayo, pwede na ata. No? San Mig Apple lang.
Pwede na po.
Pwede na. Okay. To restore ito, no? Next, identify our objectives. So, anong ginawa namin? Yes, we convert the brewery, the plant to brewery, and we opened Tagoloan Brewery in Cagayan de Oro because of the demand. That was 2019. Number 3, identify and analyze available options. So, talagang we can be able to purchase more, no? We have demand of San Miguel product. And select the possible or the best option, yun nga, no? We converted some of our plant to brewery para mag-produce ng madaming San Miguel product. But please take note of this one. What were the risks in your decision to purchase the particular product? That was the last week of 2019. Ano ba ang nangyari ng 2020? Mag-o-open na lang kami ng Santa Rosa Brewery. Mag-o-open na lang yung Santa Rosa Brewery. March 2020, nag-lockdown. Tama ba? We purchased large amount of investment. Billions of pesos. No? Okay. Nagkamali ba? For me, hindi naman. No? Na-delayed lang because of this pandemic. Sino ba mag-aakala na napakataas ng benta ng 2019 ay 2020 ay madaming nagsara, 'di ba? Nagsarang mga comedy bar, 'di ba? Nagsarang mga bar, no? Wala na hang Paddy's Point sa Manila, wala na, no? Mayo ng Paddy's Point. Okay, as in si mga institusyon na mga bar ay mayo na, no? Because of the pandemic. You need to consider in your decision-making model, no, or decision-making is the risk involved. Diba? Because in capital budgeting, ang sabi, garudain pag-aagum ang kasi capital budgeting, tulo lang yan, no? Sa MAS. Sorry, kasi ako ay reviewer ng MAS. Yan ang per me kong sinasabi sa kuyang mga reviewists sa Advanced Review Solutions. Ang capital budgeting daw ay parang pag-aasawa, pag-aagum, no? Number 1 is long-term commitment. Tama ba? Yes, no? Number 2, irreversible. Di mo na pwedeng balikan, no? Ibabalik mo pa yung machine na napakadakula, no? And number 3, pag-aagum ay magastos. Yes, no? Capital budgeting is very costly. Very, very costly. No? Tandaan niyo mga BS accountancy kung kayo, that would be your capital budgeting, and you have your decision making model and the risk, diba, involved. Okay. So meaning, as part of decision making model, no, implement the decisions and evaluate the results. No, if the decisions turns out to be less than optimal, or go back to step 1 and the process. Pero what if nag-ibo mo na, no? Hindi mo na pwedeng ibalik yan, no? So think positive na lang and strategize kung anong pwedeng ibuhon. Pero ngunyan na, ang nangyari daw yung sa San Miguel, kasi main ako San Miguel, no? Nag-avail ako ng early retirement, no? Is continue pa din, no? Continue pa din sila, okay? Na-delayed lang, okay? Because of the pandemic. Okay. Key concept, no? Never make decisions with just numbers. As discussed a while ago, very important is to consider qualitative information, the non-numerical information. Diba? Never make decisions with just numbers. Sino bang mag-aakala, no? Napakataas ng benta ng San Miguel. Sino mag-aakala na may pandemic? Diba? Kung may nagsabi lang na di mo na yun ituloy, magla-lockdown sa May 2020, man, diba? Maman kayo nagpipredict na. Okay. Evaluate your decisions to purchase the product. Was your decision a good one? O, tama ba na we purchase additional machine? For now, siguro medyo mababa ang benta ng San Miguel. For now, siguro pangit pa siya. Hindi pa siya cost is more than benefits. Pero eventually, di ba? Sabi nga Linda, no? Lilipas din yan. No? Lilipas din ng pandemic. Okay. Next, relevant factors, no, in decision making. Explain the role of the relevant factors in terms of decision making. Of course, we have sunk costs. No? Hopefully, alam na nindun, no? You have your management accounting. Sunk cost is irrelevant cost. Why? Because costs that have been or that have already been incurred. Okay. Okay. Halimbawa, VCRs. Ika pa bang VCRs? Netflix na nga, di ba? Assume that the manager of the consumer electronics manufacturing company that makes televisions and VCRs. What quantitative cost would be relevant in making a decision to stop? No? Kung ako, punduhan na lang yan, di ba? Mananga ni Video City, di ba? I remember, kakaipa ako. May Video City pa dyan sa may Emily. Yan. Maanong VCRs, no? Because of the Netflix, no? Because of, yan. Yun. For me, siguro kung may company kang ganyan, no? So, mag-innovate ka. Okay? Through digital. Okay. Future costs that do not differ between alternatives are not relevant. Yes, no? So, opportunity costs, it is benefits forgone, di ba? By choosing one alternative, and opportunity costs are relevant, no? Yung sa mo pinili, no, are opportunity costs. Okay? They are relevant, no, in making decision, di ba? Kung ang pinili mo ay maging magklase sa Manila or magklase sa Ateneo de Naga, no? Pinili mo mag-Ateneo de Naga kasi you are an Atenean, no? So meaning, sa mo pinili is na magklase sa Manila, no? Ay irrelevant, are opportunity cost, no? Benefits for that. Okay. So in making the decisions to stop, in-stop ninda, syempre, kung ako, stop din, di ba? What opportunity costs might be involved, no? Consider, for example, alternative facilities, no, and other products. Syempre, anong mangyayari sa machine, no? Pwede mong ibenta, alright? And any other products, right? Yan. So, sabi ko nga kanina, no, very important is to consider risk and in terms of your decision making. Okay. Decision make a risk seeker or a risk adverse. Okay. So, kamo na bahala, no? Kung kamo ay gusto nindo, kayo ay risk taker or okay lang. Okay. So, ethics naman is very important, no, in accounting, in decision making. What the ethical responsibilities does the company have to its shareholders, to the employees, no, to the customers, to the communities in which it is located. All right, so very important is what you call ethical values. Okay, so the impact of, okay, pause and reflect, no? The impact of changing prices on the number of units sold is usually not known with certainty. How might you as a manager take the risk into account the selling price of your product? So gagawin mo ba ay tataasan mo ang selling price mo? Considering na napakataas niya, or bababaan mo? Okay, so again, it is your decision to consider also the ethical values. Okay. So Ben and Jerry's, so three interrelated parts of your product: make, distribute, and sell the finest quality, all the natural ice cream. And you have your economic, operate them, operate company on a sound financial basis. And we have social, or initiating innovative ways. The key word here is innovation, right? Innovation is the best, or is the correct term in terms of your strategy, especially in terms of your decision making. Okay, so is adhering laws and regulations sufficient to ensure ethical behavior in organizations? Of course, we should obey the laws and regulations, diba? And at the same time, of course, to consider any ethical behaviors in the organization. Yes, for me, it's sufficient, right? That's why the last is all about, as part of the decision model, is about the principles of integrity, honesty, and respect. In the US, you have the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act in the US, the IRC, and the values of it: quality and safety of our product, and earn the profit or protect one's job. Please take note, in terms of your ethical and company's objective or decision-making model, very important is hindi lang tayo magpa-profit, but profit with honor, diba? Kasi pangat yan na, yes, we have more income, pero illegal naman yung ginagawa nyo, diba? Diba sa Ateneo, sabi sa atin, very important is earn a profit, pero profit with honor, diba? Yes, hopefully kayo din, someday if you have your own company. Okay. So, for example, supplier offers to sell your aluminum used in manufacture or aluminum baseball bats at a sizable discount. After inspection, the aluminum, you find that while it meets your technical qualifications, in some cases it shatters under extreme cost. May problema. What objectives might you consider to explicitly take into account your company's ethical responsibilities? Of course, if ikaw yung company, diba? Kaya nga may tinatawag na quality assurance or quality inspection, diba? Alam niyo naman pala na may problema, diba? It is your responsibility, it is your liability to inform your customers na may problema yung product natin. Okay, yes. That's why in IMA, so we have 4 ethical standards: competence, confidentiality, we have integrity, objectivity, and the resolutions of ethical conflict. Very important that you are competent, that you have a sense of confidentiality, you are free from bias, you're honest, you have integrity, and you are objective, not subjective, especially in terms of your decision making. That's the very important, particularly in terms of your decision making. Okay. And of course, how you will solve it, especially if there's a conflict. Of course, unang-una, sabihin mo sa supervisor niya. Okay? Except when supervisor is involved. Clarify that the relevant ethical issues is very important. Consult your lawyer. And if there's also still ethical conflict, you may mag-resign ka na lang. Okay. Mag-resign ka na lang. Okay. So, as to end this one, of course, introduction, decision market. Okay. What decisions will you make today? So, to end this PowerPoint, what decision will you make today? So, I think I have, tama ba? Until 4 pa naman ako, wala lang. gusto ko lang siya i-relate CPA in the making and CMA in the making, because our goal is all about your decision as the manager, your decision as a student, okay? And of course, your goal muna is to become a certified public accountant or certified management accountant, yung ating mga management accounting dito. Pwede kayo mag-take ng CMA, ah? Okay. Ako ay CMA pero hindi ko pa tapos. And also CISA, no? Sige. Okay lang ba? What decisions will you make today? Of course, to become a certified public accountant, and after that one, to become a manager, no, of your company. Okay. So I have still one pa, no. Sandali lang to, mga 15 minutes, no. Baka dito kayo interested, no, about CPA in the making. Okay. Sandali lang to, no. So CPA in the making, or CMA in the making, or CISA in the making. Okay. What is your dream talaga, no? Your dream is to pass all the subjects, to graduate with flying colors, no? To be active, no? Dapat in the JPIA, di ba? So hindi ko nalagay, no? To pass the certified management accountant or to certified public accountant. Dapat ngayon pa lang, kung kayo ay first year, yan dapat yung dream mo. Or kung fourth year ka, tama ba na accountancy pa din ako? O, ano ka na, late ka na, no? Dapat doon pa, no? Nag-shift ka na dapat, no? Para at least, hindi naman sayang, no? At least hindi ka masaya. Pero, of course, yung first year ka pa lang, kung talagang your course is BS Accountancy, go for it, diba? Patunayan mo na kayo ay, ito I remember, no? Teacher ko dati sa first year, si Mr. Santiago. Hindi ko alam kung ano pa si Sir Santiago, no? I remember, bukod man sa paghambog, ha? Ako lang ang nakabalanse. Di ba sa worksheet? Di ba may worksheet, tapos may journal entries, tapos may ledger, up to the FS presentation. Di ba, aram nitong worksheet? Di ba? Balance per me, no? Bukod man sa paghambog, ha? Ako lang ang nakabalanse kadto, no? Di ko tumalingawan. First year, first quiz, or exam, I think exam to, no? Sabi ko kay mama or kay papa or lolo ko ata, no? CPA na ako. Dahil lang duman, no? Dahil lang duman sa pagbalanse kang worksheet. Dapat araw din kamo kaya, no? First year pa lang, no? Dapat isipin nindo na kamo ay magiging certified public accountant or certified management accountant or CISA. Okay. Why, no? Yes. Kadakol challenges sa buhay, no? COVID-19, mayong kwarta, no? Quarrel in terms of your family. Yan, pandemic. And yung iba, di nakakapag-focus. Totoo yan, no? Kahit din ako, may mga challenges din sa buhay na dai mo din aram, no? Na taano to may challenge, no? Taano to may mga dilemmas, no? Dapat nag-aaral na lang ako, no? Okay. That's why very important here is to have or tips on how to study effectively. Go back to your basic. Go back to the basic, no? Basic concepts in accounting. Bako itong kadakol ka mong review materials, no? Na sige ka mong solve. Iniipon nindo ga boss, no? All your materials na di man sino-solve. Go back to the basic concept, no? Lalo na si mga fourth year degree na BS Accountancy, bumagbalik ka mo sa basic. Okay. Number 2, before using your formula or shortcut method, understand first the reason behind that formula. They pwedeng memorize mo lang ang formula. How come that the formula for the break even is fixed cost divided by CM percentage, fixed cost divided by CM per unit? Taro kayo ng formula. Basta, yung sinabi kang teacher mo. No. Go to the long cut. Ano ba ang formula ng long cut? Sales minus variable cost is equals to CM minus fixed cost. You have your net income. Go back to the long cut. Okay. Para di ka mo mag-memorize. Okay. Meaning, you should understand kung taarog kayan ang formula. Okay. Number 3, don't memorize, just analyze and understand. Don't memorize, just analyze and understand. Aram ko, dahol mong natutuom. Guilty man ako dyan, di ba? Tinutuom ko, no? Pero na-realize ko yung day pala niyan, na paano kung ibahon ang problem. Okay, mayo na, no? If you go to the basic concept and then they can memorize, you understand it, no? And then at the same time, you have your understanding about the formula, no? Kamo ay magiging certified public accountant. Okay, number 4, be resourceful on your accounting problem. Sinabi ko pag resourceful meaning, yes, solve many problems. Pero ano lang, dapat understand, dapat araman nindo kung isosolve yan. Okay. Bako itong memorize lang. Okay. Number 6, more practice in solving problems and to have positive attitude skills. Okay. Yan. Positive attitude, focus on mind, proper guidance, and self-study. Very important is think positive always, diba? Bako itong day lang na-solve si problem, suko na. Day. Ako kanto, baka mas pag day ako nang tuturog, pag di ko nasa-solve ang problem, totoo yan. Tapos kung kaon na akong maray, minsan di po ako napapaturog. Iniisip ko pa si problem. Totoo yan, class, pero mali pala niyan, no? Okay, mali pala niyan. Yes, I can solve the problems of accounting. Without this attitude, you cannot reach the solution. Diba? Isipon nindo na masosolve yung problem. Okay. And number 7, take guidance from your every accounting. Ako ito ha. Siyempre, ako ang bida. Siyempre, picture ko dapat yaon dyan. Diba? Hindi naman. Take guidance. Of course, yung si Dean, no? Si Sir Joel Gogola, no? Si Sir Mike Balbastre, yan, si Dean Abilinde. Yan, so pwede ka mo, sorry, baka bawal mag-text, no? Pwede ba sir mag-text sa Indo? Yan, so sinda naman yung maging guidance, no? Pwedeng guidance, guide nindo, no? Sa inyong career or sa inyong journey to become a certified public accountant. Yan. And also very important is to have virtual collaboration, di ba? Lalo na ngunyan, no? The pandemic, di ba? Okay, because of the virtual collaboration, we have the share, support, assist, teamwork, success, inspiration, yeah. Inspiration daw, Yvonne, no? Yan. Trust and exchange. Yan, okay. Baka kung yan, nagliligaw ka mo sa Zoom na lang ba? Anyway. Sorry siyempre, Advanced Review Solutions to. Enroll in the CPA Review Center. Of course, ibibida ko ang Samuyang Review Center. Yan. Kami niya. We will strive for the greatness and success. Gusto ko lang, thank you pala Yvonne, okay. Paparaan mo yung advance yan. So kami to, no? So just like and share our review center, Advanced Review Solutions. Mga kaibahan ko digdi mga reviewer from DLSU Manila and UST. Yan. So kami, yan. Okay? So of course, challenges, yes. Of course, we have your COVID-19. No? Very important is that, think positive always, diba? Stay organized, then stay organized lagi, no? COVID-19 nga, Zoom nga, diba? Di pa ka mo organize. You should organize always, no? And number 2, don't multitask, no? Pag nag-aadal, day mag-text. Pag nag-aadal, day magkawat, diba? Mobile Legends ba kinakawat nyo doon yan? Focus is very important, diba? And number 3, make most of the video lectures. So, ito ginigibo mo ha. Ito ginigibo mo sa advance. So we have app pala, no? Yan. So, kung mag-enroll ka mo sa advance ay we have an application. So kakaiba ang ginigibo mo, no? Yan. So yan, make most of the video lectures. Zoom recording man yan. Sinesend sa Indo. Yan. Okay, yan. So yan. Okay. Yan. So yan. So Sir Albert Rivera, kaibanan pa sa Lasal, Manila. Okay. Si Attorney Jimmy Balmedian. So yan. So make most of your videos yan. So kung may mga sinesend na mga videos sa Indo as part of the asynchronous, make most out of it. Yan yung advantage, di ba, Yvonne, no? Kasi pwede mong ulit-uliton. Yan. Okay. And number 4, set your schedule. Ano bang schedule kung yan mag-adal, no? Okay, yan. Set your schedule. Okay? And number 5, swap out your strategies. Kanto, wow, nakakamiss ang library, no, sa James O'Brien Library. Okay. Kung kanto, sige kang nasa library para mag-adal. Ngayon, ang adalan mo ay sa sa sala. Okay. Sa sala, sa kwarto. Yan. So, maghanap ka ni sarong lugar na doon ka lang mag-adal. Bako itong yan ka lang sa kwarto, tapos sa kusina, kwarto kang mama mo, kwarto kang saan, no? Dapat misaro kang kwarto na dumang ka lang mag-adal. Para at least, pag yaon ka naman, iniisip mo na, pag yaon ako, di maadal lang ako. Yes. And number 6, collaborate remotely, no? For Zoom, Google Meet, ano pa ba? Microsoft Teams, no? FaceTime. Yan. So, lalo na ngayon, no, mental health ang problema ta, di ba? Yan. So, we have virtual collaborations, no? Inspiration ang gusto dyan ni Yvonne, di ba? Yan. Virtual collaboration. Yan. Inspiration. Di man. Support, assist, teamwork, exchange, and share. Okay. Share your knowledge, di ba? Yan. Okay. And stay connected. Yun nga, mental health ang problem tangon yan class, no? So, hopefully yung GPA nakakatabang, no? Sa tuyang mga estudyante. So, yan yung, of course, ako din naman, of course, masakat kaya, di ba? Lalo na itong 2020, di ba? Na nasa harong ka lang. So, very important is to stay connected, di ba? So, of course, magpahingalo mga mo, no? Baka puro lang kamo adal, di ba? Yan. Ito, di ba? Sala din ako dati, no? Di ko nagtuturog hanggang di ko ma-solve, no? Pag di na kaya, magturog na. Okay? Rest is very important. Okay. So, yes, struggles, no? Of course, help, no? You need help. Struggles at the same time. Okay? Ang challenge, ayaon lang dyan. Aram nindo, the greatest basketball of all time. GOAT, no? Na inaapod. May idol, of course, nagdahula ako na si Jordan. No? Ang premier kong dinadalan. Pero si iba nakapagsabi na si Michael Jordan ay may mga challenges din sa buhay. Ano sabi niya? I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games, 26 times. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. No? I failed over and over and over again in my life. Kaya ako ngayon, kunyan, successful na. And that's why I succeed. This is Michael Jordan, di ba? Dito naisip na si Jordan ay the greatest of all time. Kadakol din palang challenges sa buhay. Kamu din class, no? Kamu din. Struggle lang yan, no? Pero pag kamu ay naging certified public accountant, certified management accountant, or CISA, di ba? Yan ang tagumpay nindo and tagumpay kang magulang nindo, di ba? Siyempre, magulang nindo ang pinakamaugma dyan. Okay. Anong sabi ni Michael Jordan? Obstacles do not have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and don't give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, and work around it. So very important na challenges lang yan. No? Of course, kay puhan din na to think positive always. And of course, very important is prayer. Si God, no? Baliwala. Isa ba di ang pinaka-top 1 sa klase? No? Tubod ako na baliwala ang talent mo if mayo si Lord, di ba? Prayer is aligning ourselves with the purpose of God by Stanley Jones. No? Why? Because through our prayer, God listens. No? When listen, God talks, and when you believe in God, it will work. No? So very important here is, of course, proper guidance niya. No? Tubod ako na di ka ba yung successful kung mayo siya, di ba? And of course, you should think positive always. Okay. What else? Ito ang pinaka-importante. Pinaka-importante si Lord, of course. And very, very important is self-confidence. No? Success is a vehicle which moves on a wheel called hard work. But the journey is impossible without the fuel called self-confidence. Kung ganyan pa lang, mayo kang tiwala sa sarili mo, di ka magiging successful. Istorya ako sa Indo, no? Ako ay taga-Francia, no? Taga-Francia ako. Until now, yung pa naman si na mama. Nag-uli pala ako last December. Okay. Nagrumduman ko sa kwarto ko dati sa Francia. Sa taas kang wall, habang natutulog ako, nag-drawing ako ng nakulaon na CPA. Tapos, may harong ako, may kotse, and may review center. Di ko matandaan. May review center pala, no? Gabos ito, naging na-achieve ko siya. Kasi nga, tubod ka, no, na mangyayari yan, di ba? So, meaning, dapat magtiwala ka sa diri mo na magiging successful ka. And at the same time, si Lord, no? Siyempre, baliwala lahat kumayo si Lord. So, meaning, very important is your self-confidence. Right? Because, of course, when life changes to be harder, change yourself to be stronger. Lilipas din yan, no? Lilipas din yung pandemic. And dapat you should consider all your challenges, no? Na part din kang buhay ta, no? And dapat di ka mo magsuko para maging successful in life. Okay. Because sabi nga ni 𝐒𝐞𝐿, no? In order to succeed, we must believe that we can. No? Diba lagi sinasabi ni Obama, no? Yes, we can. You remember. Ikaw mismo dapat magtiwala sa sarili mo para at least ikaw magiging successful and para ikaw ay maging certified public accountant, certified management accountant, certified information system accountant, or certified information system manager ata. Okay. So I think this would be end of my lecture, and hopefully you learned about managing decisions at the same time to become a certified public accountant someday. Right? So again, thank you. And just mabalos, no? Regnum Day, of course. And I miss, no? Of course, ito yung dream ko talaga, honestly, na mag-talk sa Ateneo de Naga University. Of course, I am proud na ako ay product ng Ateneo de Naga University. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir J-Man, for that very informative and insightful talk. So I hope that our legendary JPians gained new insights about better decision-making this afternoon. All right. So I agree with Sir J-Man with decision-making and proper planning with the help of decision-making models is indeed important, especially if we are already professionals in the future. So thank you, sir, for sharing with us also tips on how to study effectively for us to become CPA or CMA in the future. Also, sir, I appreciate your affirmation. Thank you for the high hopes na magiging successful professionals kami, CPA and CMA in the future. So, manifesting po kami, sir. And with that being said, masyado na akong maraming sinasabi. We will now open the floor for comments and questions for our speaker if you have any. So, we encourage you to participate in our open forum. Feel free to ask necessary and relevant questions related to the talk earlier. So, to facilitate our open forum, if you have any comments, insights and questions, kindly click the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called before unmuting to speak. Or you can also use the chat box to send your questions. Just don't forget your name, your year level, and course, and I'll read them for you so that Sir J-Man can address it. Okay? So, sino po ang may mga questions sa inyo? Ready si Sir J-Man sagutin yan. Di ba, sir?
Sige, ready. Okay.
Ayan, ready. Alright, for insight...
Di na masupog.
Ayan, di na masupog. May gustong mag-share, sir, ng insight. Insight na lang.
Sige lang.
Alright. Zairian Watimar, hello po.
Hello, Ate Yvonne. Can you see me?
Hi. Yes
Yeah.
po. So ayan, we have Zairian Watimar,
Hi.
our Vice President, JPA, Vice President, sir.
Okay. So the most striking part of your talk, Sir Jiman, was when you highlighted the need to have a positive attitude. You know, when pursuing something in life, you must always know first the why before you can effectively do the how. So if you see that things seems not to be working how you expect them to be, go back to your very reason in entering the path you are in right now. As the saying goes, fighting period. So padayon future CPAs and CMAs, and thank you, sir, for this very insightful talk.
Thank you.
Ayan, thank you for that wonderful insight, Sai. Maraming salamat. So guys, kung may questions kayo, go. Mag-chat lang kayo or raise hand button. Alright, mga shy type kaya, sir. Ayan, parang may nakita akong, okay, from Rigondo. Rigondo lang yung nakikita ko. Wala yung name, pero ito po yung question. What might be the best thing to do if I pursue accountancy even though I know that I lack in skills and I am having a hard time learning? Sir J-Man?
Right. So, of course, again, challenge nga yan, no? Na, there are times talaga na may mga time na garo feeling mo na di naglalaog sa utak mo, no? Especially in terms of learning new things, no? So for me, yes, ginigibo ko dyan dati is I read talaga book, no? The basic concepts of accounting, diba? So talagang binabasa ko ulit-ulit, no? Hanggang maintindihan ko, no? So yes, you lack skills, no? For me, hindi, no? Di mo sabihin na you lack your skills, no? So meaning, hanapon mo lang, no? Kung ano yung siguro study time mo, no? So if you're effective in terms of morning, okay, so find it, diba? Or kung effective ka in night, no? Mas okay, diba? So meaning siguro ano lang ang keyword or keywords diyan is discipline, no? Discipline. Yes, I remember my lolo, no, kasi sabi sa akin ng lolo ko, no, 4 years to 5 years lang yan, no? And mag-sacrifice ka and discipline, no? After that one, pag naging successful ka din or maging certified public accountant ka din, di ba? Parang iisipin mo na, yun, ginawa ko to dahil because of my dream, no, to become a certified public accountant. Thank you.
Ayan. Thank you very much, Sir J-Man. So, Miss Angel, nasagot ba namin yung question mo? I hope yes. For the next question po, ayan, hanapin ko po. Ayan, thank you very much daw po, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so from Precious. Yan, Precious. Thank you very much po for the very insightful talk. With this, I have a question po. How did the pandemic change how entities manage their operations, especially when it comes to risk management and operations planning?
All right. So,
Sir J-Man?
for example, no, in my own experience, no, ano bang nangyari in the time of pandemic, no? 'Di ba, we have Ginebra San Miguel, 'di ba? That time, no, talagang wala lang umiinom ng Ginebra, no? So meaning ginawa namin, no, instead of producing gin, 'di ba, we convert it to what? Alcohol, right? Kaya may San Miguel alcohol, no, if you remember. Okay. My point here is if you have your own business and then naapektuhan ka, no, especially in the time of pandemic, you should strategize, 'di ba? Okay, in our review center, no, bakit Sir J-Man, this is our second batch pa lang, 2020 lang kami nag-start or 2020. Sir, ba't ka nag-create ng review center in the time of pandemic, no? Because of course, the virtual or the virtual collaboration, the system itself, no? For me, siguro ipagayabang namin yung system namin. So meaning, you should innovate, no, to combat your risk, 'di ba? You should have proper planning also, no? Ano ba yung mga business, no? Ito, wag na kayong lalayo pa. 'Di ba, yung GCash ay matagal na 'yan, no? Bata pa ako may GCash na eh. 'Di ba? Ang kalaban niya Smart Load, naalala ko pa, Smart Load, no? Oh, sino bang mag-aakala na ang GCash ay number 1 company in the time of pandemic? 'Di ba? because of innovation, di ba? Because of proper planning, okay? And at the same time, very important, yes, is the risk management is also very important. So, yon. So, meaning, ang keywords then is to strategize, no? To diversify also is very important. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir J-Man. So I hope, Precious, nasagot namin yung tanong mo po. Alright, thank you very much po. Okay, so I think, sir, yun lang naman po yung mga question namin. So, any last piece of advice, sir, para sa ating mga future CPAs and
Future CPAs.
CMA.
Piece of advice. Self-confidence lang naman eh. And pray always. And of course, guidance from above is very important, no? And magtiwala, ulit ko magtiwala sa sarili mo. And I know, no, someday kayo ay magiging certified public accountant or CMA or CISA. Okay? So, yun lang. So again, thank you for inviting me here, no? In Ateneo de Naga University. Okay? GPI.
Yes po, sir. Opo, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. John Michael Angelo C. Lopo, CPA, and to those who actively participated in our open forum. So now, to show our gratitude for Sir J-Man, for his time and effort, we now present the Certificate of Appreciation with a citation. Ateneo de Naga University, College of Business and Accountancy, Junior Philippine Institute of Accountants awards this Certificate of Appreciation to John Michael Angelo C. Lopo, CPA, in grateful recognition for his expertise and service as resource speaker in the lecture series entitled Making Better Business Decisions Using Management Accounting Models, held on February 3, 2022, given this 3rd of February 2022. Signed by Mr. Joel H. Gogola, DBA CPA, Accountancy Department Chairperson, Sir Jaser I. Avila, MSA, CPA, Allied Accounting Courses Department Chairperson, and Dr. Anne-Marie F. Bagajon, Dean, College of Business and Accountancy. Again, we thank Sir J-Man Lopo. This lecture series will not be possible without your presence. Once again, let us all give him a round of virtual applause. All right, so before anything else, let's take this time to have a photo opportunity with Sir J-Man. So we encourage you to open your cameras for documentation. Yan. So open your cameras, guys, and do the honors, Sai.
Thank you, Sir JM, for that wonderful talk.
Thank you, Dean.
Smile, everyone.
Sir Joel.
Thank you, Sir J-Man.
Smile, everyone.
Let's just wait for the others to open their cameras.
Okay, once again,
as of
open your
now, we have
cameras.
2 windows. So let's just wait. About a minute or two. Okay. First window, so hold your smiles.
Smile,
1,
everyone.
2, 3, smile. Okay, second window. 1, 2, 3, smile. Third window. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay po. So, Waki.
Ayan, may walkie pa. So, everyone, say AAC ang haba eh.
3, 2, 1,
Okay,
smile.
everyone.
Okay, second window. Waki po. 3, 2, 1, smile. And last window. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay.
All right. I think that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you very much, Zai. So before we proceed with the program, we will first check the attendance. So to know if you are all still there, alive and kicking. So kindly check our Zoom chat box or YouTube comment section to access the link for the checking of the attendance. Okay, I think nasa chat box na po natin. Yan. All right. Now we have come to the second part of our lecture series, and this time our topic is all about accountants and the new normal, roles, duties, and trends. To introduce our second speaker, may we call on Miss Marisan Harsha, CPA, Faculty of Department of Accountancy. I think we're having some technical difficulties for a while po. We cannot hear the audio po. Thank you. All right, I think, yeah, we're having some technical difficulties. So don't you worry because our technical team are on it, okay?
Afternoon, everyone. Afternoon, everyone. Our speaker for today is one of a kind, not only because he is so humble, but also because he graduated as cum laude in our university March of 2011 with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Accountancy. And to top it all, he landed first place in the October 2011 CPA board examination. He has more than a decade of experiences performing financial audits of companies in the United Kingdom and in different industries in the Philippines, such as banking, insurance, financing, stock brokerage, power generation, port operation, just to mention a few. He likewise worked with SGB for 10 years and also with EY Singapore's Capital Market Center from 2016 to 2017. Currently, he is an audit senior manager in the London office of Ernst & Young, United Kingdom. My friends, my dear students, my colleagues, I am deeply honored. I have this great privilege and prestige to introduce to you our guest speaker for this afternoon, no less than Mr. Jerome, Austria, not only a pride and honor of the university, but also of the entire Bicolandia.
All right, so once again, let us all welcome Mr. Jerome, Austria CPA. Let us give him a round of virtual applause. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes po, loud and clear.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Ma'am Harsha, for that very touching introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, it's really a pleasure for me to be able to speak to you today. So, it's good afternoon to you guys, but it's around 10 a.m. here in London. So, it's good morning for me. And I think after this call, after this talk, I will actually be going to the office for my work. Okay. So, a big thanks to the JPA Adna chapter for inviting me. So I understand this one is part of the accountancy and allied business courses, accounting courses week celebration. And a special thanks to Sir Bart for inviting me today. So it's been a while since I had the chance to speak to you to my fellow Athenians. So I think the last one was I think 2 or 3 years after my graduation. Since generally, this one is actually a February, it's normally the accountancy celebration before, and normally it's always the busy season for me since I'm an auditor. So I don't normally get the chance to have this talk. But considering that we're now in a virtual environment, mostly in the pandemic, so I had this chance to be with you guys. So let me just can you provide me an access to share my screen, please? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oops. Okay. So let me just share my screen. So so this morning I'll be discussing about accountants in the new normal. So what are the key changes and trends that as accountants have to deal with due to the impact of the pandemic, as well as the ever-changing economic landscape that we are in. Okay. So can you see my screen now or my slides?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So this afternoon, I'll be going through some key topics. So I'll be discussing around what has changed in the accounting profession in the age of digitalization, and then some key trends that have affected the accounting profession as well, and then the COVID-19 pandemic as an accelerator of change. So later on, I'll be discussing around how the COVID-19 pandemic significantly impacted our profession as well. And then I'll also be discussing what's the new normal accountant now. So what are the key traits or skills that is going to be needed for you to be able to perform your job as an accountant, whether that be any of the chosen accounting related fields that you will be in the future. And then lastly, I'll be discussing the different opportunities that we have. So even before and after the pandemic, there are countless opportunities that's available for accounting graduates. So to make this lecture interactive, I will be flashing some polling questions that you may be able to answer using your laptop or mobile devices. So let's start with the first polling question. So you just need to go to www.menti.com and then key in this code in your screen. So you have here 8300478. So the first question is that what are the two things that come to your mind when you hear the word accountant? So I'll be showing in a minute the live results of the poll. Yeah. So if you guys are able, hopefully your internet is working well. Yeah. So I can see now answers such as debit and credit, finance, information. So I'll give you a few minutes to key in your responses. Sorry. Okay, so I'm seeing balance sheet, your finance, money, FS reports, debit and credit, yeah, hardworking, yeah. Okay, so CPA, yeah. I think most of you would really dream to become a CPA in the future, or any other accounting related certifications. A financial statement. So in your life as accountant, you will actually be dealing with countless numbers of financial statements, whether you will be the one preparing it if you're in the corporate world, or you'll be the one auditing it if you're in the professional services. Balance, reports. Yeah. So I think I can. These are the keywords that you will be experiencing as accountants. Okay. Yeah. So thank you guys for all of these responses. So all of these, will eventually be all around you as you go through your career as an accountant. Yeah, I just didn't. I think in terms of money, so yeah. Hopefully you didn't go to accountancy or accounting just because of that notion that in the future when you get the CPA title, it's just at a few signs you will be able to get a lot of money. So unfortunately, that's not entirely true. So you will still have to go through a lot of hardships to be able to get to that signature. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to just going back to my slides. So yeah, next question naman. So it's the same polling question. Let me just show it again. So now in the age of digitalization as well as business disruptions, do you think that technology will eventually replace accountants in the future? So I'm interested to get your thoughts, guys, on this one. Yeah. So we have 40% responses. So currently we have more than majority says that no. Yes, about 20+%, and then a little bit saying they don't really know. Yeah. So thank you for those responses. So I think it's really good that most of you, or more than 3/4 of you, is saying that no, accountants will not be replaced by technology in the future. Even with the advancement of technology, the accounting profession is here to stay. So going back to my topic now, to my slides. So what has changed, or what is even currently changing in the accountancy profession in the age of digitalization? So as you can see, the accounting profession is really ever changing. So we have to be able to adapt to the needs of the business, of our clients, and our stakeholders. Yeah. So before the traditional concepts of accounting would only revolve around like bookkeeping, your normal financial reporting, cost accounting, payroll, or tax. So this would actually make up most of your core subjects in accounting. But now, with the age of globalization and digitalization, the profession has been evolving, and you will hear now a lot of these buzzwords in the finance world. So you have here artificial intelligence, robotics, process automation, or what we call RPA, blockchain. So if you're quite close or following cryptocurrency trading, so you will hear a lot about blockchain technology, and then advanced data analytics, cloud-based data management, as well as ESG, or environmental, social, and governance reporting. So all of this really now is one of the key areas of interest for us accountants in the business and finance world. Okay, so while some experts actually say that accounting has a dim future in the digital world of tomorrow, so technologies such as cloud-based management, robotic process automations, and data analytics are actually poised to further elevate as accountants in new and empowering ways. So this technology would actually help us provide better insights to our clients, to the companies that we will be working with. So in the end, technology can never really replace accountants. So it will just be there to support us as we go through this age of transformation. So just to discuss a bit around about all of these key changes or key areas of interest for accountants. So first is around artificial intelligence and robotic process automation. So how does this relates to our job as an accountant or as auditors? So in terms of this one, so RPA and AI are two of the most exciting technologies in the business world today. So in terms of, say, AI or robotic process automation, so previously you just hear robots being used like in the manufacturing businesses to be able to, like, automate certain processes um, of the manufacturing process, such that it would lead to higher efficiency and then higher productivity for the business. But now it has now come to the back office, or the finance side of the business. So you will now hear about using softwares or software robots that are capable of following specific rules and action sequences. And from this, you're able to automate processes that previously it would require extensive human workers to perform tedious information. So say, for example, before, accountants will have to do a lot of account reconciliation, so balancing subsidiary ledgers to general ledgers, tracing to a lot of schedules, this and that. So now in accounting and finance, it has been used in basic accounting reconciliation or account reconciliation, processing of invoices or purchase orders, as well as improving the monthly financial reporting of a lot of entities. And then in auditing as well, it also been used from my experience in reconciliation as well as data cleansing and contracts review. So specifically from my experience, we have this technology wherein when you're reviewing, say, contracts, whether that be lease contracts or revenue contracts that are critical to the entity, you just scan that contract, and the software would actually now be able to pinpoint and then summarize key terms and conditions of that contract, and that will eventually be loaded into a tool, and then you will now be able to do the much more extensive judgment and analysis of the accounting treatment of those contracts. So now accountants will have more time to focus on riskier tasks rather than just those repetitive tasks. So it would now entail more, and we'll now be able to provide more business insights to our clients as well to our businesses. And then next one would be blockchain. So if you're quite close with cryptocurrency, you will be hearing this a lot. So blockchain is basically a system of recording information in a way that it makes it difficult make it difficult for anyone to actually change or hack the system. So a blockchain is essentially like a digital ledger of transaction that is duplicated and distributed across an entire network of computer systems. So for you to be able to hack that, you will actually have to hack the entire system. So it's nearly impossible for you to be able to do that. So that's the key, the technology for which cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin revolve upon. So essentially, in accounting, if effectively blockchain is an accounting technology. So it's an accounting technology, and in terms of accounting, what's in it for us when using blockchain technology in the future? So blockchain has the potential to provide accountants more clarity in terms of ownership of assets and obligations. So since this is now in a digital format, and there's that lesser risk of being hacked or being tampered by any other individual, you will have more confidence in terms of the information that you're getting from the blockchain technology. So it also has the potential to enhance the accounting profession. So it will now be reducing the costs in the future that would be incurring from, say, maintaining or reconciling different ledgers, and it would provide certainty over the ownership and history of assets. So because those informations are just in the blockchain. So it would provide or free up time and resources for accountants to concentrate more on planning and valuation rather than just doing record keeping. So for auditors naman, for external auditors, um, if you have already been through like the auditing subject, so currently external confirmation is a key procedures that we've been performing. So in the future, once the blockchain is now used by most businesses, performing reconciliation about assets and assets of or investments of a company may no longer be necessary, since all of those transactions will now be visible in the blockchain. And then thirdly, you have naman data analytics. So you always hear about these buzzwords about big data, data analytics. So how does this relates to us as accountants? So in terms of data analytics, accountants use this to help businesses uncover valuable insights within their financials. So identify process improvements that can increase efficiency and better manage risk. So since you have the capacity to be able to analyze huge chunks of data of your transactions, you will be able to, say for example, analyze sales trends, perform better cost analysis that previously when you're doing just manual recording of transactions, it will be difficult to collate and clean those information for you to be able to come up with your analysis of the data. So it improves efficiency and help businesses manage their risk better. And then accountant who would also ask as advisors or investment advisors would use such big data to find behavioral patterns in customers or in the market. So say for example, for certain retail companies, they would be able to study what's the key dates or times of the year or specific periods of the year wherein there would be better sales, and then for those instances wherein there would be lower sales, what could be the strategies that the company can do to be able to drive up the sales target for those low season sales. Yeah. And then for auditors naman, the main one of data analytics is one of the drivers to improve audit quality. So it would allow auditors to more effectively audit large amounts of data and that are processed in IT systems of their larger clients. So if auditors are able to extract and manipulate client data, they will be able to analyze it better. So from my experience, what we normally now require clients to provide us is all the journal entries for the year, and then we will load that into an automated tool such that you will now be able to easily reconcile the opening balances to the plus all the journal entries during the year and tie it up to the ending journals for the year. And from that, given all those informations in the journal entries, we will now be able to provide better analysis of and correlation of sales, the receivables, and then eventually it being collected into cash. So those would provide us better analysis of the data and perform better risk assessment, since you could actually pinpoint certain risks. Like say for example, instances wherein normally the expectation is that accountants would normally record their transactions on weekdays, but given that you now have that information for the whole year, you might be able to identify actually instances wherein this specific client or specific contact person would actually be recording certain transactions on the weekend. So what happened to that one? You may be able to investigate that further. And then if you have also certain fields such as who prepared or reviewed those journal entries, you will be able to uncover issues around segregation of duties. So you will be able to see that this certain client or business owner is actually shouldn't be recording or posting this journal entry. So that would provide you some some evidence in terms of investigating further and checking with clients. So what happened to this one? And you might be able to actually relay process improvements to your future clients. And then fourth, cloud-based data management. So you will hear now a lot about cloud computing. So a lot of companies now are using cloud-based accounting softwares instead of their traditional or on-premise accounting software. So using these cloud-based softwares would free companies from having to install and maintain softwares on individual desktop computers. So with this, it will now allow employees to be able to collaborate better. So even if you're from different locations, say different departments or remote branches, you will be able to access the same data and the same version of the software, and it provides better data security as well. So for example, if there would be instances of, say, emergency or catastrophe, the data will not actually be lost because it will always be in the cloud. So in terms of in use naman in audit firms, so from my experience, most of the auditing tools now used by big auditing firms are now cloud-based. So it will increase collaboration as well between teams, and it would actually enable remote working. So wherever you are, you can actually work through your laptops and be able to document your procedures in the accounting in the auditing tool. And now there will no more be in most firms, there are actually no more paper-based working papers. So you will do most of your procedures in Excel and in all office documents. Yeah. And then most of the documents now are being requested through scan copy. So you no longer have to. Well, for key contracts, you may still have to view the original contracts, but now mainly the documents are now being provided on a soft copy. Yeah. So it would really increase efficiency and effectivity when it comes to work. And then we also have lastly ESG. So due to increased regulatory requirements, say for example, locally, you have the SEC now requiring listed companies to submit as part of their annual financial report. So they will also have to submit a sustainability report, which would document how the listed company contributes or monitors its progress towards universal targets of sustainability. So say, for example, if you're familiar with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so for us to be able to care for the environment, especially during these dire times of climate change and the impact of climate change. Yeah. And locally, I think the SEC is actually planning to require those sustainability reports. So most likely in the future, they will now have to be audited as well by an accredited professional firm. So in the future, this would provide opportunities for us accountants and auditors to provide these new services to our clients. So most auditing firms now would actually have their own people dedicated to providing services around climate and sustainability services. Yeah. So those are the key interests right now in the accounting profession that has been greatly impacted or advanced by technology. So let's go through next polling question. So the question is, so the code has changed now, so it's 15887622. So the question is, which of the following trends do you think would most significantly impact the accounting profession? So I'm not sure if you're seeing it now. Okay, yeah, so I think I'm starting to see answers now. So the options would be there's a need for accountants to be tech savvy and mobile friendly. There's also that increased expectation of clients for their accountants to be holistic advisors rather than just being the traditional accountant that we have before. And then we also have investing in data and automation, evolving cloud computing and solutions, as well as changing workplace environment. So now most of the firms would have implemented certain flexibility around work arrangements. So whether it be fully remote working or hybrid working. Okay. So I think from the response of around 80 plus people, so most of them actually see that, as accountants really now need to be tech savvy and mobile friendly. So they see this as the key trends that would significantly impact our profession in the future. So those are good responses. So let's discuss this one a bit more. Okay. Okay, so here are the key trends that are currently affecting the accounting profession. So even before the pandemic is actually there, but later on I'll be discussing that COVID-19 pandemic really just accelerated the need for companies, for us accountants to adapt to these changes that we have in the business world. Okay. So the first one is from being transactional accountants to being holistic advisors. So now clients, there's that increased expectation from clients for us accountants or accounting professionals to be holistic advisors rather than just being simply transactional accountants. So clients now are looking for a more holistic approach in tackling the business challenges that they are facing in this current environment, and at the same time they're actually streamlining the number of advisors that they consult with. So this would increase opportunity for accountants that, say for example, auditors, that there's a huge opportunity for us to leverage, industry expertise for us to be able to advise clients on their immediate needs, and that would help us, expand the services that we can provide to them. So rather than just doing, the plain audit, we'll now be able to provide clients advisory services, because as auditors would have, the key understanding of the client's business, and we are in the key position to be able to provide clients advices or insights as to their strategies, whether it be short-term or long-term business strategies and plans. So with that, there's that also expectation that as accountants, we really have to upskill. So we have to continue to improve approve ourselves, so be able to adapt with the different technologies, be able to upskill ourselves in order to provide clients with better insights. So later on I'll be going through some of that as well. And then there's also there's that expectation that the future accountant would have to be tech savvy and mobile friendly. So considering the current pandemic now, there's expectation that mostly you would be dealing with your clients and with your co-workers or your leaders through mobile platforms or online platforms to be able to service your clients if you're a client servicing person, or if you're working in the corporate world, be able to deliver your work on a daily basis. So there's that increased use of online and mobile technology for us to be able to deliver our work. So, and this also has resulted to increased interactions with clients. So because before it would be difficult to say meet your clients or and do a lot of meetings on personally, but now considering the virtual world, so it's easy to just set up Zoom meetings or Teams meetings online. So But on the downside, there's that issue around work-life balance, because normally would be in meetings a lot of times, so it might actually eat up some of your personal time for yourself and for your family as well. So in the future, would also have need to have like balance in terms of that. So in terms of being tech savvy as well, so there's also that expectation that firms and businesses will have to come up with new technology. So there's also that expectation that in the future, we will be adopting more of mobile accounting technologies, such that accountants can actually perform certain tasks just by the click of their cell phone. So, and I think this is actually being done now. So say for example, in my case, I can do my timesheets through my mobile, and then I've also experienced wherein we have that tool that you can do inventory counts just by taking pictures and through your mobile, and it will eventually be uploaded automatically to the accounting or the audit platform. So it would lessen the time to do the admin tasks of saving, cleaning all those files for you to be able to document it in your working papers. Yeah. And then later on, there's also that expectation that businesses can actually maybe record their transactions using their mobile devices. So I think those are the key trends that might happen in the future as well. And then thirdly, investing in data and automation. So centralizing data management, particularly through the use of cloud technology, actually would really increase collaboration, and as well as reduce waste, and then lower cost by improving communication across the business. And then in terms of data, in standardization and a cohesive data sphere would make it easier for us accountants to capture, access, and share and analyze data. And then as I have discussed earlier, so AI and RPA, or process automation, are the way to go for most businesses now. So you will hear this more, I think, in a few years' time when you start working. This would be a key advantage if you have knowledge of these topics. It will be a key advantage for you if you will be applying to different companies. Yeah. So there's that expectation that for us accountants, we'll also have to be able to upskill ourselves for us to be able to take on these new areas and challenges in the future. Then cloud solutions. So as discussed earlier, cloud solutions will become the standard for most entities. So technology is at the heart of facilitating interaction between us as being a trusted advisor accountant and our clients. Okay, so this has significantly been evident this pandemic as well, considering that there has been a lot of online interactions between clients and auditors or accountants as well. Yeah, and it's also increased. As previously you would normally just meet a few times of the year. Say for example, if you're auditing a client, would normally just meet through formal meetings, or planning meeting, interim meeting, and closing meetings. But now, with a virtual environment, you will be would normally hold a lot of catch-up calls with the clients. And then lastly, firms and businesses will have to adapt as the future of work changes. So the pandemic actually has taught us that there's no longer one singular approach to managing your workforce. So previously, before the before the pandemic, you wouldn't thought about doing 100% of your work at your home. So businesses had to actually adapt their systems, their processes for to enable their employees to do their daily tasks on a remote basis. So since most of if um, luckily for most companies, they might have already some infrastructure to be able to do that, but for small businesses, it really impacted them negatively, since um, they may not have the capability at the onset to be able to adapt to the changes brought about by the pandemic. So in the future, the expectation is that, if so, for example, for you guys, if you start work, you will now be start working. The norm now in the new normal would actually be either full remote working or hybrid working. So hybrid working meaning there would be a few times during the week that you will have to come to the office, but the rest of the week you will be working from home. Because most businesses, so say for example, if you work in auditing firms, since we're dealing with a lot with clients, so there's that expectation that there's still that benefits of meeting clients on a face-to-face basis. So this would include, since this actually increases collaborations, and it strengthens relationship with them. So it's really quite difficult in the early onset of the pandemic. It's quite difficult to just you're just talking on a screen with your clients rather than them you discussing with them in person. So you would normally not hear, especially if you're not on video, it will be difficult to hear whether they agree with your what you're discussing or the topics that you're discussing with them. So, and previously, it's always important to see the nonverbal communication set. So their mannerisms and how they what's this interact with what you're saying or what you're discussing. So in the future, for those businesses that really requires interaction with clients, so most likely they would be either would most likely employ hybrid working, because I guess most companies now, or most in future employees, would actually want that, and no one would actually want to have to work in the office 5 times a week. So that's actually based on my experience as well. So currently, after the easing of the restrictions, we're now I normally now work 2 to 3 times a week at most. Yeah. But for certain businesses naman, if you're you can actually do your work on a full remote basis, then there's that option actually for you. So later I'll be discussing around the some of the opportunities that weren't before in the pandemic, and because of this remote environment, these are actually available for us accountants. Okay. Next one would be, okay. So COVID-19 as an accelerator of change. So as I said before, so those the trends that has been affecting, or the significant changes that has affected the accounting profession, these are actually present, or you can already see them even before the pandemic. So these are, you can see all of these drivers, and most of this I have already discussed earlier. But the pandemic has actually just accelerated and the need for accountants to step on the pedal. So they have to be able to adapt to a lot of these changes. So for example, as I discussed earlier, the rise of technology and innovation, and heightened regulatory requirements. So there are now a lot of requirements for accountants, especially those in external audit, to ensure that they perform their audits up to the highest quality, to avoid instances of, like, for example, Enron in the past, or if you've heard of it, Wirecard issue that has actually also involved some of our big banks in the Philippines. So it has involved some of the big one of the big fours. Um, I think in Germany. So that actually impacted, the how the public sees auditors. And I think even though if you will be studying your auditing theory now, um, we always have that in our opinions that um, it's never an absolute assurance. It's just reasonable assurance when we're doing or when we're opining on the financial statements, that those are free from material misstatements or fraud or based either due to fraud or error. But there's that expectation that, from the public, that as accountants or as auditors we'd be able to uncover any fraud or irregularities that certain clients or certain businesses may do in their financial statements. And there's also that changing market demands, as well as new business models and emerging industries. So you have all of these innovators and disruptors in the business, such as Uber, Netflix, and all that. So this would also those provide accountants, um, further avenues as well to expand the services that they can provide to these emerging industries. And as I said earlier, there's also that demand for greater transparency and accountability, including in the public sector. And then for you guys, then the Gen Z generation, um, um, businesses now and accounting firms will have to also consider what's the expectation of the new generation in terms of their career growth, um, um, their aspirations in life. So because that has significantly changed for the last 2 years, especially that most of you now would have already gone through 1 year or 2 years of e-learning or virtual learning. So that would have significantly impacted the way the behavior of the new generation. And there's lastly, there's also that evolving roles in finance. So as I said earlier, accountants now really provide more, are expected to provide more business insights to companies rather than before just doing, financial statements, closing the books. They now have a strategic role in the business in providing better insights and informations to the business for them to be able to come up with better decision making to improve or to enhance their business as well. Yeah. And then okay, this polling question naman. So moving now to the topic around what are the key, what do you think are the key traits or skills that you as a future normal accountant need to have for you to be able to be successful in your chosen career, whether it be in corporates, public accounting, government, academies. So what do you think are the key skills or traits that you need to have for you to be successful? So let me just flash my screen. Okay. Wait, sorry. I think I haven't flashed that actually. Okay, so I think if you can see it now. So just key in key words that you think would be needed by the new normal accountant for him or her to be successful. So not sure if you can access it already. Okay, thank you, Yvonne. Yeah, I can see you nodding. Okay, so I think you accountants would now have to be flexible, analytical, tech savvy, resilient, resourceful. Okay, keep your responses, guys, coming. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think you would have really got the key traits that I'll be discussing in my next slide. Okay. So flexible, analytical, So using before, you will now have to contend with big data. So we have this a lot of the procedures now being done by auditors are around data analytics. So you will hear a lot about substantive analytical procedures. So you based on the big data that you're getting from the client, say from the journal entries from when you do your planning, you will have to now set up say expectations. What say for example, because of this and certain factors, I now expect that say sales for the year will increase by this much, and then come year end or come your interim period. So when you do your when you get the balances from the client and you compare your expectation versus the actual, then you will then analyze what went if your expectation does not is not within the threshold that you've set. You will now have to check with the client what went wrong. So what were the key things that drive your expectation to not be aligned with what happened in actual scenario. Yeah. So those are some of the key traits that you would need to have as an accountant. So let me go back to my slide now. So yeah, so these are just I think the top 5 skills that I've selected in terms of what's going to be expected for you as the new normal accountant. So the first one, I think you've got it. I think a lot of ones got it earlier. So being adaptive and resilient. So considering what happened in the pandemic now, so you would need to be adaptive. And you have to be able to adapt successfully to changing circumstances and situations and the business environment. So considering that now it's really constantly changing, so you really have to always upskill yourself, and then make sure that even if you go through a lot of struggles, you still have that self-confidence and that drive to be able to go through all those adversities that you will encounter either in life or in your work life. So even though most research does clearly indicate that younger people, especially millennials and the Gen Z, are on the average actually less resilient than the older generation. So they would normally be prone to stress, or less emotionally stable, and or less tolerant of ambiguity as compared to other older people. So that's why you being able to, even if you're part of the Gen Z or the millennial generation, you being able to develop resiliency as one of your key skill is going to help you in the future. So either it be in work or in real life, because you're going through will be going through a lot more challenges now as compared to maybe what we have experienced in the future. Because I cannot really imagine myself going through more than 2 years of virtual learning. I'm not sure if I would have passed my subjects, or I would have been a CPA if I've gone through the same environment as you guys. So yeah, I can really see that it's been difficult, but with those adversity would really come opportunity for you to come out better, being a better version of yourself. Yeah. So you have to be able to recognize different stress factors and be able to cope with them, and improve your ability to bounce back after experiencing those adversities. And then second, you have to be creative and innovative. So you have to be able to show your creativity and innovativeness by providing or showing inventive or original thought process, and be able to generate and apply new ideas and solutions. So it's always a good thing for us accountants to be able to. It's not not that you need to have like the creative accounting or not apply the accounting principles and comply with the accounting framework, but it's in terms of providing or thinking of solutions that you could provide to clients, safe, especially if, for example, you will be embarking on the advisory service lines. So these are the critical skills that you would need to have for you to be able to uh, uh, become a trusted business advisors for your future clients. And then thirdly, being collaborative. So now, um, since most of you would be working, I think in most companies you will be working with teams. So being collaborative would involve you being able to work confidently and proactively in a group of people. So it includes how you interact and cooperate with different people, uh, at different situations, and how you would effectively do this. So considering the remote and or hybrid working arrangement in place now in most companies, this would really be a critical skill for an accountant to have. So he or she can, together with his team, be able to achieve set targets and objectives. So you can no longer just work on silo on your own. So maybe before you would just study on your own, but now you really have to now work with the team. So you go through, you suffer together, but you also have fun together. So that's what I think, for those who are actually joining during the pandemic, that's something that they may have actually missed. The joy of being able to work, always be together with your friends at work, be able to interact with them in person, because that really creates camaraderie with your team. So that's why I guess it's always key that if you're be working in the future, there's always that time for you to have the chance to connect with your workmates in person, because that would really improve the camaraderie and the teamwork within your department or your team. And then I think this should be a given already. So as discussed earlier, the future accountant should now be tech savvy and mobile friendly. So you have to be comfortable with using all the available technologies that your company may have. So you taking advantage of those technology would really help you upskill in the future. And then lastly, being an effective communicator. So you really have, considering that now in the remote working environment, you have to be able to express yourselves better. So since you would normally just have to do calls over Zoom or Teams meetings, so you have to be able to come up with an effective way of communicating your ideas to your colleagues, to your clients, or to your bosses. So you should be able to have that. So both verbal and written communication skills would be key for you to be able to successfully prepare to become the new normal accountants in the future. Okay. So these skills would be on top of the normal skills that or the technical skills that you need to have as an accountant or an auditor in the future. Okay. Okay. So next would be around the career opportunities that you may have in the new normal. So actually, in terms of the career opportunities, this has not significantly changed, but just increased greatly. There are a lot of new opportunities that are available to accountants, whether you're pursuing BS accountancy or any other accounting related fields. So, say for example, in the Philippines, you have the four key divisions of in terms of the career opportunities. So you can have go through the public practice, go through commerce or industry, and then the government or the academe. So in terms of say public practice, most really go through assurance. So whether it be external audit. So me, I'm currently in external audit, but I've been also doing accounting advisory. So providing clients with advices in terms of how they would account for certain key transactions, if for example business combinations, or how they apply the new accounting standards. So previously, I have experience providing clients with advices or in assistance on how they would implement, say, IFRS 9, IFRS 16, IFRS 15. So I know these standards would now be very much familiar for most of you. And then there's also that niche sub-service line under assurance wherein you can actually do forensics. So you will be coming in in instances wherein there might be suspected fraud in clients. So you will be that forensic auditor. It's actually quite quite interesting actually. So you will be dealing with a lot of investigators within the client, as well as in the regulators as well. And then you could actually also do the advisory, or what we call now as generally called as business consulting. So you can actually do IT audit or IT advisory. So if you want to be, say, a CISA in the future, if you're, say, a computer management accounting graduate, so this is something that might really interest you. So considering that data and technology now is one of the key trends, so if you're really good with being tech savvy, or really aligning your interests with technology, so you can actually do that. So you can help clients improve their IT controls, as well as their RT processes. And then process improvement. So generally, you can actually help clients in improving all their processes within the business. So this would do a lot around advising them on how to streamline certain processes, say HR, procurement, what else, or sales. Yeah. So those are some of the key processes that we can help the client with. And then you can also do internal audit. So if you want to be, say, a CIA in the future, so this is something that you can also do as well. Data analytics. So there's also now that dedicated personnel in most firms wherein you would be able to help clients or internal teams to process a lot of data. So being able to analyze and present data in a well-defined manner really helps us with providing business insights to our clients. And then you also have, if you're, I think if you have gone through your financial accounting, if you're quite keen on financial instruments, your derivatives, hedge accounting, financial risk management is something that you can take on. So especially if you want to work on, say, banks, financial institutions, as well as insurance, this is something that might actually interest you. And then transaction advisory. So in terms of mergers and acquisitions, so as well as valuations and modeling. So this service lines naman help clients in dealing with, say, business decisions around, do they actually want to acquire or to sell certain parts of their businesses, or in terms of the valuations of certain, say, intangible assets, or certain non-financial assets. And then tax. So you also have your tax compliance and reporting, as well as tax advisory. Yeah. So being able to advise clients in terms of minimizing their tax liability, but in accordance with the tax regulation. So providing them with optimal tax structure, especially if, for example, clients would be in those multinational clients. And then you also have your personal tax. So we have experiences in SGV we're advising celebrities in terms of their income tax return. So this something personal tax or human capital actually does. And then if we're going through commercial industry, so you have your finance, you can do the normal financial reporting. So if you want to be in financial reporting, so you will be quite busy. You would hear about if you have your friends working in the corporate world, so they would normally be busy with month-end reportings. And then tax or regulatory reporting, and or also you could also do financial planning and budgeting, or if you want, you could also do treasury related functions or internal audit. Or some are actually going through or employed with a lot of shared service companies of multinational clients that provide accounting services to a lot to their subsidiaries or to their parent companies in the different parts of the world. And then for government naman, yeah, you can actually go through any of the government entities or GOCCs that we have. So normally some would go through would be hired in BIR, COA, PSP, or the local government units. So if there's something that interests you, or so for example, you just wanted to stay, say, in Bicol, this is something that you can actually be interested in. And then in academe, so we have our noble teachers here. So yeah, if you have the passion for teaching, so this is something that you can pursue as well. So what have actually changed? So the pandemic has actually just removed, certain barriers, especially geographical barriers, which created new opportunities to work and collaborate to a greater extent across countries. So you can actually see now a lot of opportunities around you working for a multinational companies or a foreign firm. But you will be based in the Philippines. So you taking advantage of, say, the higher salary and higher, being exposed to more complex transaction or complex engagement, but also having the benefit of being near your family or not going abroad like me. Yeah. And then there's also that increased delivery of trainings in virtual format. So that would provide employees greater access and flexibility for upskilling. And then lastly, as I've said earlier, so experience and knowledge in data analytics and advanced technology has become an advantage. So if you want to be, be hired, most likely hired better than others, so you really have to upskill yourselves with all of this, new technologies. So okay, so I think this is my last polling question. So among the career opportunities that I have discussed, which career path would pique your interest the most? So I just wanted to get your thoughts on or hear your interest on this one. So I think that's the last polling question that I have for today. So I'm not sure if you're able to access it now. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, I can see public practice. So you can actually join any of the big fours or any of the top accounting firms in the Philippines. And then if you want, there's always that opportunity to go abroad like me. So there's been a lot of opportunities for Filipino CPAs to go abroad and work. Yeah. So I have a lot of colleagues here as well in the UK. So I think just to share, I think there have been like around 70 plus of us who went to the UK just last December. So this really that a lot of opportunities in different service lines, whether it be audit, advisory, IT. So there's really that a lot of opportunities that's in store for you guys. So yeah, I think the number one is public practice, academe, internal audit, finance, okay, forensics, data analytics, yeah, public accounting. So So as long as you persevere, whether you want to be a CPA, CIA, CMA, CISA, so there's always a lot of opportunities in store for you guys. So I think that ends my topic. So thank you, everyone, and hopefully I was able to impart some insights for you to that will help you prepare for your chosen accounting career in the future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Jerome, for that very informative talk. We are now enlightened with the present condition of the accounting profession in the age of digitalization. So, di ba, we cannot deny the fact na because of emerging technology, nakakatakot kung one day pati accountants, mapapalitan na ng robot. So, kanina may nag-chat sa akin na gano'n. Grabe yung reaction niya na, nag-ano pa kami, nag-aral pa kami, nag-board pa, tapos papalitan ng robot. Parang hindi ka tanggap-tanggap. Pero I know and I am certain na it will never happen kasi magagaling naman talaga ang mga CPAs natin. Basta, yun nga yung tinuro ni Sir Jerome na basta meron kang traits and skills of the new normal accountant. Ayun. Agree ba kayo, guys? So if you're agree, sige nga, patingin naman ng chat nyo kung nandyan pa kayo. Alright, so we will now open the floor for comments and questions for our speaker, if you have any. So we encourage you to participate in our open forum. Feel free to ask necessary or relevant questions related to the talk earlier. So to facilitate our open forum, if you have any questions, insights, comments, kindly click the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called before unmuting to speak, or you can also use the chat box or Zoom chat box or YouTube comment section to send your question. Just don't forget to state your name, your year level, and your course, and I will read them for you so that Sir Jerome can address it. Okay? Okay lang po ba yun, Sir Jerome?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Ayun, so may mga question po ba kayo? May katanungan po ba kayo? Tingnan natin ang ating chat. Okay, so I think may gustong mag-share ng insights, sir. We are very glad, we are glad na merong mag-share ng insights. So, Precious? Hello, Precious.
Hello po. Am I audible po?
Yes po,
Yeah,
hello.
we can hear you.
Okay po. First of all, I would like to say thank you to our speaker for today, Sir Jerome, for the very insightful and very relevant topic, especially for us still students, still embarking on the journey to be certified public accountants, CMAs, and CTAs. So, accountants in the new normal po. We tend to associate the term new normal with how we are dealing with the pandemic right now, with a shift to online modality, to remote work, and etc. However po, from the talk, I actually think that the new normal for us accountants, for the accountancy profession and in academia, is not just about embarking on the journey here while being in the pandemic, but also it started way back when the advent of technology is being introduced to the profession as we integrate ourselves into cloud accounting to be more technologically advanced and using different softwares in our profession po. And together with this, with your talk po, I actually got three important things po. First being that the accountancy profession is really here to stay. Second is the real need for transparency and accountability. And lastly, as to how the accountancy profession has become more competitive in the recent years. So for the first point po, actually Ate Boone actually mentioned this na yung threat of having robots or having artificial intelligence to replace us. I actually share the same sentiments, and even my friends do, na there was a news back then wherein there is a particular system able to record debits and credits automatically, and we were really shocked, and we actually thought na parang, hala, papalitan na talaga kami. But at the same time, especially in this talk, we were reassured na really, accountants are really here to stay because we're not just, the accountancy profession is not just limited to making financial statements, into analyzing financial transactions, but the accountancy profession really became more as we became more involved in management, as we became more involved in giving advices or really parang tapping into the entity itself and not just being confined into making reports or analyzing reports. And at the same time, this made me see how the technology is partly our friend at the same time, because we are now beyond physically recording, or yeah, we are now beyond physically recording or manually inputting information, but now we are more focused on how we're going to utilize the financial information that we have into achieving the goals of the entity and fulfilling our mandate as accountants. But secondly po, I also got how important transparency and accountability is, especially the roles of auditors in the current in our times today. Not just for counter checking mechanism or making sure that all entities are able to report information in the most accountable, most verifiable way, but also into protecting other stakeholders, our customers, the community, ensuring that the finance industry and parang the backbone of our economy is still alive and is able to adapt with different contingencies and different happenings, especially with the pandemic. But lastly po, I was able to see how the accountancy profession has become more competitive. More competitive in a sense that, again, we're not just being expected to generate reports, but we're expected to be more efficient in terms of different technologies, of using different systems that we're not just CPEs anymore. We're not just confined with passing the board exams, although that is an important factor. We're not just confined with the CPE title anymore. We're expected to be more technologically adaptable, more technologically flexible, and be more than just recording transactions and the like. That even if there are different opportunities that arise with the current changes, for instance, in the public practice in terms of advisory services and the like, we're already expected to acquire another skill set, which is to be more adaptable in terms of technology and in terms of how we utilize our learnings and our skills as accountants. And with that po, I actually want to end with a question for Sir Jerome. Considering po how the accountancy profession is evolving right now, and considering how competitive the industry or the profession is becoming, how could us students po be able to be more confident as we enter the industry? Because aside from getting that CPA title or passing the licensure examination, how could we be more confident that as we enter the industry, we are equipped with the skills and we are equipped with the capabilities that is expected from an accountant, from a new normal accountant po? So that would be all po, and thank you.
Okay, yeah, I think that's actually a tough question. So I guess as what I said earlier, considering the advent of technology and digitalization, there's also that increased sources of learnings that you can get. So this is now just outside of the normal learning that you can get from your classroom. So a lot of free online or virtual learning modules that you can get from on the internet. There are a lot of free learning platforms that you can get, say Udemy. You can actually even use YouTube in terms of getting some skills. So as long as you got the interest, I guess, and got some time. Although I know that it's really quite difficult to manage your times as a student, but if you really want to upskill and have some ready knowledge about technology and all those trends that I have discussed earlier, it's really good to try to explore and be resourceful in terms of the available learning. So you will be amazed of the free learning that you can get from the internet, as long as you got the time and and it took some effort to actually learn them. And I guess there's always that you're not as a new hire or as a new graduate, you will not be expected to already have all of this skills right at the onset, but just
being expected lang from most new hires is that you have that right attitude and mindset, that you're open to learning, you're proactive in terms of getting new skills, to be being taught in the process of doing your work. So as long as you got that right attitude, I guess the technical skills or the all the other soft skills would really just come together. Yeah. Hopefully that I answered that question for you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Precious, for your insight. And I hope nasagot ni Sir Jerome yung question mo. Precious? All right. So, I think...
Hindi pala po naka-unmute yung mic.
Okay. It's okay. Yan talagang problema pag online.
True po. Yes po, sir.
Alright.
Thank you for the answer po. And I really do agree that even if it's hard to manage time, our interest in learning could also help us. But at the same time, it's not just we're not really expected to have everything as we enter a company, and it's also a matter of how we're going to perform and how we're going to learn as we continuously grow in our profession po.
So yeah, I think just to add as well, I think it's really good to really align or yourself with companies that really provide a lot of trainings, and then upskilling to employees. So so that you'll get to be more as you go out. Say if for example you go to public practice, if you go out to different countries or to the industry, you will have better market value and have the advantage to take on better roles in the future. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Jerome and Precious. From YouTube naman, sir, may question from Martin Juco. So, ERP is slowly becoming an integral tool for growing and large corps in utilizing accounting information. Is it important for us, students, to learn to use a particular ERP system like SAP, Oracle, etc.?
I think it's an added skill, but depending on which industry that you will be in, as long as I guess you have that basic knowledge of it, you don't really have to have all the detailed or experience on these ERPs. But as long as you got that basic understanding on how it works, especially like SAP or Oracle, it's really quite intuitive naman in terms of you being able to use it. Since actually, I can remember that way back in college, we didn't really have that. We have that. I think the old system pa we're doing computerized accounting. It's the old system pa ata. It's not really SAP or Oracle. So, and if you will be dealing with a lot of clients, you would really have different systems. So, it does take a time to be able to familiarize yourself with the system. But I guess, as I said earlier, as long as you're quite keen to learn all of this stuff, you will and get some time to learn about the basics of this. I think you'll be fine. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Jerome. So as much as we would like to entertain your questions, we only have limited time for the open forum, but don't you worry because you can send us your concerns on our JPIA FB page. And pwede naman ata nating i-forward kay Sir Jerome. Sir, pwede ba yun?
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Swerte natin. Malakas tayo kay sir. All right. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Jerome, Austria CPA. And of course, to those who actively participated in our open forum. To show our gratitude for Sir Jerome for his time and effort, we now present the Certificate of Appreciation with a citation. Ateneo de Naga University, College of Business and Accountancy, Junior Philippines Institute of Accountants awards this Certificate of Appreciation to Jerome M. Austria, CPA, in grateful recognition of his expertise and service as resource speaker in the lecture series entitled Accountants in the New Normal, Roles, Duties, and Trends, held on February 3, 2022, given this 3rd of February 2022. Signed by Mr. Joel H. Gogola, DBA CPA, Accountancy Department Chairperson, Mr. Jaser I. Avila, MSA CPA, Allied Accounting Courses Department Chairperson, and Dr. Anne Marie F. Bagajon, Dean College of Business and Accountancy. Again, we thank Sir Jerome, Austria CPA. This lecture series will not be possible without your presence. So once again, let us all give him a round of virtual applause. All right.
Thank you, Sir Jerome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. My pleasure po.
All right. So before anything else, let's take this time to have a photo opportunity with Sir Jerome. So once again, we encourage you to open your cameras for documentation. Sai? I think Sai ulit.
Yes po.
Yan, smile po ulit tayo.
So we have 9 windows. So kindly hold your smiles. Okay.
Kaya medyo mahaba-haba.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay. Next window. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay. Next. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay na po. Thank you.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Sir Jerome, and thank you, Sahay. Before we proceed with the program, we will again check the attendance to know if you're still there, alive, and kicking, kasi baka wala na kayo dyan. So kindly check our Zoom chat box or YouTube comment section to access the link for the second checking of attendance. So reminder lang po, mabilisan lang po tayo mag-attendance. So the form will be closed after 10 minutes. So come on guys, double time tayong mag-attendance. Okay?
Marina hapon.
Ayan. At this moment, we have with us Mr. Jaser I. Avila, MSA CPA, Chairperson of Allied Accounting Courses Department, for the closing remarks. Sir Jaser?
Marina hapon. On behalf of the Allied Accounting Department and the Accountancy Department, and the whole College of Business and Accountancy, I would like to congratulate everybody for a successful celebration of our year's AAC and ACC week. We started off with our first ever testimonial honoring of our latest Ignition CPA last January 28, where they shared their journey in successfully hurdling the Sipali, hoping to inspire their undergrad brethren. Technical sessions were also offered during Friday. Technical sessions were also offered last February 3, where 2 of our alumni, John and Jerome, opened up your horizon on the possibility of what is out there as they share both their experiential and technical skills in their respective industry. Leadership and time management skills were the topics offered for our February 4 activities. These are the 4 pillars. You will be equipped in developing all aspects of your life, professional, personal, and emotional, maybe. So do not shy away from these outside classroom activities. Try to embrace it. Lastly, I would like to commend the participants and the JPIA organizers for this year's activity. Thank you for this one. Once again, stay safe, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Jaser. Now we have come to the end of the program. So we hope that we have all learned something from this lecture series and have been inspired or challenged to use our skills, talents, and get involved in programs and advocacies that would impact people empowerment and social development. Okay, so before we end this activity, please be reminded to fill out the evaluation forms by clicking the link in our Zoom chat box or YouTube comment section so that we know what we can improve in our next activities. And with that, we are looking forward to your active participation in our upcoming events and activities. So if you have any other concerns, questions that you are too shy or hesitant to raise earlier in our open forum, please don't hesitate to send us a message on our official FB page, JPIA AdNews, so that we can address your concerns. So we hope that you actually gained insights and new learning from our lecture series with the topics making better business decisions using management accounting models and accountants in the new normal roles, duties, and trends. This ends our program, and thank you very much for being with us. It's been an amazing afternoon with you all, guys. Once again, this is Yvonne Awa, and now signing off. Maraming salamat. Thank you po.
Salamat, Yvonne.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you. Thank you, JP officers. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you,
For the
sir.
mini
Thank
ACP.
you po.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget po, may mini ACP tayo tomorrow. So, mga mag-register. Ayan. Thank you, everyone.